I am Curran Bhatia. We're here at the top of the Empire State Building with Callum Walsh, undefeated, representing Ireland. He's fighting on Sunday, UFC Fight Pass. Been lighting up the world. An amazing 2024. 3 wins, all by knockout. We know you've been lighting it up, like we said. You were just on Monday Night Raw yesterday. So what's it been? And look at this view. I mean, what's it been like for you, man?
Yeah, it's crazy. It never gets normal. Like this is all crazy to me. Even being last night at Monday Night Raw, I'm just sitting right there, like next to the ring. Like that kind of stuff is crazy. Even standing right here, it's like I'm standing on top of the Empire State Building. And people are taking pictures of me. It doesn't feel real. But obviously I'm enjoying it. I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and yeah, it's amazing. I'm enjoying every minute of it.
You started boxing. You put on the gloves at age 6. Okay, you're standing on top of the Empire State Building. You're headlining on Sunday night. It's going down in New York. We know St. Paddy's Day is coming up. You're the headliner on UFC Fight Pass, and you're within this ecosystem, WWE, UFC. I mean, could you ever have dreamed when you put those gloves on that this is what it would turn into?
No, never. When I was 6 years old, if you told me this, I would never have believed you. Well, maybe when I was 6, I might have. But even a couple of years ago, 4 years ago, if you told me this, I would not. I would have been like, nah, no way. And the fact that I'm here doing it now, it's unbelievable. And I'm, like I said, I'm very grateful. I know a lot of this has come from hard work. I work very hard, and I feel like I deserve to be here. So I look forward to showing that on Sunday.
Speaking of hard work, not everyone knows your story, and it's not like anything was given to you. You had to show up to the wildcard gym with legendary Freddie Roach, and just like anyone else, you had to prove yourself to him. You had to come in for sparring. What was it about you and your resilience that you said, hey, no, I'm going to work with the legendary Freddie Roach. I'm going to make this happen. And how did you make it happen?
Yeah, since I've been training since I was 6 years old. I knew how to train. I knew how to work hard. That's all I knew. And obviously, when I got older, I worked normal jobs. I worked on a fishing boat, 7 days a week, and that taught me hard work too. Waking up every day and going to work. And then when I got the wild card, it was like, do I want to go back on the boat, or do I want to try to make a name for myself out here, and make it happen? And the only way that's possible is by working hard, and I understood that. It was either work as hard as possible, work hard as I can, and try to do this, or go back to the boat, So I'm doing well now, everything's going well so far, I just need to keep up the hard work, keep winning, and things will keep getting better.
Things are continuing to get better. And of course, when we think of Ireland and combat sports, the name Conor McGregor comes up all the time. I know that you actually met Conor McGregor ringside, and he knew who you were. And I'm just wondering, you talked about your hard work. Conor had a similar story. He was a plumber. His boat now is representative of how many welfare checks he cashed because he didn't want to go back there. And there was a thread of hard work there and doing your talking in combat in the ring. And I'm wondering if you see any parallels between yourself and Conor McGregor in terms of that hard work, that determination, not just physically in the ring, but that mental fortitude that you need to have.
Yeah, absolutely. His story is similar enough. He was a plumber and decided that one day he just didn't want to do it anymore, and that was like me. I was on the fishing boat and I decided I don't really want to do this anymore, I got to a stage where I was thinking, I was 19 years old and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? I'm going to try to do something at least, and rather than settle for like a normal life right now. When I knew I had skills, I knew I had ability, I knew I had potential. I was after winning championships back in Ireland. I knew I could do that, so it was a time for me where I was like, right, I might as well try to make something of it, and worst case scenario, I'll just go back to being a normal person, I'll go back to having a normal job. And I think that's going all in. I did the same thing with McGregor. He quit the job and he went and pursued his career. And I think that's the only way you can do it, really. If you go all in, you don't really look back. You can't do both. I think you either have to commit to one, and it's tough. It was hard for me. I had no money at the start. I wasn't making money because I wasn't working. But you have to go all in. These are the sacrifices you have to make, and I think that's what was a big thing for me, was not looking back and not worrying about where the money, everything was going to come from. I was just focused. I was just at the gym training, and it all worked out. So yeah, I do see some similarities in the story, and hopefully I get as big as him one day.
Well, you're on your way. There's a saying, if you want to take the island, you got to burn the boats, and it sounds like that was your mindset. And I'm curious, you said something there that I've heard a lot of fighters say, top-level performers say. They say you don't want an ordinary life, and it seems like that was in your mindset too. Because to compete in combat, especially at the level that you're doing, you really have to have that relentless nature. And I'm just wondering, was that how much of that was your motivation? You didn't want to be like everyone else. You wanted to have that extraordinary life. As we sit sit here on the eve of your fight as we're overlooking New York City, as you're headlining, you're achieving those dreams, but that was a big part of your motivation, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I always felt like I was here to do more. You know, I always felt like I was destined for greatness. You know, and I would say I didn't want an ordinary life. You know, like worst case scenario, I go back to an ordinary life. You know what I mean? The worst thing possible for me is I go back to just working a normal job and being who I was anyway. You know, but obviously everybody wants more. You know, I'm being here now and chasing this. You know, I'm 100% committed to this, you know, but at the end of the day, worst case scenario, go back to just being a normal person, you know. But yeah, I feel like now that I'm here, I've given it 100% since I've been here, and if I continue to do so, you know, I won't have to go back to an ordinary life. You know, I'll have enough money to live nicely, you know, and I think I'll always be the same person, you know. I think that's the main thing, you know, as long as say not going back to an ordinary life, but being an ordinary person still, you know what I mean? Being yourself, you know, not letting things get to your head, you know. I can't let this stuff make me feel like I'm better than anybody, you know. I think everybody's equal, you know. I treat everybody how they treat me, you know. I treat everybody with respect, and I feel like I'm very humble, you know. I know how it is, you know, coming up, and I know how it is when meeting people that you look up to, you know, and try to, try to be myself, you know, no matter how big I get, you know.
Absolutely. And let's talk about your test coming up on Sunday night. You're taking on Dean Sutherland. He is only once beaten. We know that you're undefeated, like we said, in a spectacular 2024. You won 3 times, all by knockout. What are you expecting on Sunday night, and what can the fans expect from this fight?
You know, I can only expect that Dean is coming into this fight at his very best. You know, he was beaten once before, but, you know, anyone that's suffered defeat doesn't want to lose again, you know, and this is massive motivation for him, you know, being here, coming over and headlining Madison Square Garden. I presume he's going to be at his very best, you know, and I'm going to be at my very best, so may the best man win, and I think it's going to be a very exciting fight. You know, I think Dean has a good style to make this a good fight, you know, to come forward, and you know, I'm going to meet him in the middle, and we'll see what happens, but I think it's going to be a very good night, a very exciting night for everybody there and everybody involved.
And just to close it out, final question. We know this is going down UFC Fight Pass on Sunday night. It's St. Paddy's Day weekend. We know the Irish fans are going to be coming out. It's going to be an incredible event. So just to finally close it out here, what would be your final message to people watching this, not only just to tune into your fight, but we've been talking a little bit about your journey, where you started, right? The humble beginnings, 6 years old, putting on the gloves, probably never dreamed of something like this, standing on, you know, the Empire State Building, overlooking New York City, headlining, seeing your name. Curious if you have any message to people about if they are going through something, how to continue, you know, those tough mornings where you don't want to wake up and do the road work, where you don't want to do the sparring, where you don't want to go into the gym. You've continued and now you're here. So any words of wisdom from you?
You know, the words I have for people is just keep going. You know, it says it on Freddie's shirt right there. It says it ain't easy. You know what I mean? It's not. You know, the days you wake up and you don't want to do it, they're the days you should do it. You know, and you feel better after you do it. You know what I mean? And everything's going to be tough. You know, anything worth doing is hard. You know what I mean? If it's easy, it's not worth doing. You know what I mean? What's that quote? It says, "The road to heaven feels like hell, and the road to hell feels like heaven." You know what I mean? So that's how it is. You know, when you wake up and it's not going good, you know, you will make something good from it. You know what I mean? As long as you keep going through the tough times, and you'll come out the other side. You know, there's no sun without rain. You know, you have to go through. I know. You know, I've my first couple of fights, I was. You know what I mean? I was toughing it out, you know what I mean? I was here, I was making enough money to pay my rent, you know what I mean? Now I'm standing on top of the Empire State, you know what I mean? And that's what I would say to people, you know, no matter how tough it is, no matter how hard it gets, just keep going, and it'll be worth it, you know, it'll pay off. Hard work always does pay off.
And you're a testament to that. Sky is literally the limit here. Callum Walsh is fighting on Sunday. This is going to be a massive event, UFC Fight Pass, St. Paddy's Day weekend. Best of luck, Callum.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the time. Thank you.